Coach, sixth final, 6 years. A lot of people might look at the build up to this and think that with the sixth time, it's easy for you and for the team to get ready since it's pretty much a yearly occurrence. But obviously, knowing the difficulty of getting to this stage, how do you prepare for a sixth straight final, given the history that you yourself and the team has?
Yeah, I think most importantly is history just helps in the preparation and the minds of the players, but the rest of it is just the normal business. It's a game in front of us. What's happened in the past is irrelevant when it comes to the actual game and the 90 minutes. What it does is it gives familiarity to the players with what it looks like coming up to the week of the match, how you deal with certain situations in the game, but then each game is different from there. Like I've said, this is a week where you enjoy your football because this is the last week of football together in a competitive way for the team. This team has accomplished a lot this year, but we're still hungry for a little bit more tomorrow.
Charlie?
And then,
Oh, no, keep on.
and then we were talking to Tommy and to Calvary, and they were talking about how special it is to have this final at Spruce Meadows. Does the venue take any sort of factor for yourself and for the team, knowing that you're playing in Calvary's ground for the final for the first time since 2019?
Yeah, I think whoever hosts the final should be special. You're playing in front of your fans and in front of what should be a good atmosphere. And the one thing we always want, and I've said from the beginning in 2019 of being in this league, is we want good atmospheres to play in. It doesn't matter if that's ours or it's the opponents. I think that gives energy to the players. I know as a coach, I look forward to it. When we get to play away against big crowds, whether that's Halifax here or anywhere else in the league, I think that gives you a lot of energy as a team to go out there and try and be your best.
Bobby, you speak a lot about the consistency and the identity you've built at this club over the last 6 years, but what is different about the football club you're leading into this game tomorrow versus the one you had in the final last year?
Yeah, I think this team has been much more consistent over the season. Much more consistent, much more battle challenged. I've talked about last year, it costing us being the first year we never played in a CONCACAF competition. Those external games in different environments and atmospheres, I think, are something that drive this club. Why is that? Maybe because we had that taste as we were a club of 4 months old back in 2019 for us, the staff and all the players. And I think that's a big component to what we do. That stability in our play this year, good performances in Champions Cup, an excellent run in the Canadian Championship with some very good performances. I think that kept the fuel going. And that was something that was a little bit lacking last year, although the quality was there. That motivation of something different other than playing for a trophy in this league, and I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but players have to find motivation from different ways. And we've been able to find that stability, put a target on the Shield this year, with it being the second year of that being awarded in our league, and something we weren't happy about last year. So we put that target forward. And then obviously you always want to be playing in this final game.
Hey, Bobby, Para is back after his suspension, and it's a tough assignment out there with Ali Musi. But as you know, he can get forward. He can also make him defend. How important is it, some of those things he does on the ball, to maybe help him 1v1 in that sort of battle?
Yeah, I think the most important thing with players like them is you try and keep them off the ball as much as possible. You find different ways to make them do things that they're not comfortable with on the pitch. So if we can make him defend a little bit more than he likes to, that keeps him further from goal. I'm guessing coaches use that strategy all around with different players, including ours. So, we look at things globally, not so much on individual players, but more on zones of the pitch we want to keep our opponent away from in certain situations, and that's something we'll try and implement tomorrow.
Bobby, last year, Tommy was in your shoes when he'd won the Shield, and then obviously had to, flip the script a little bit this year with you in a different way. He came into the final last year and he called it a bonus. Would you call this a bonus based on your year?
Yeah, no, I think you play the lottery to win the jackpot. You don't play for encore or whatever's next. So you come here and you play for the trophy that's at hand, and that's pretty simple. Our league is set up that the banner tomorrow will say champion. The banner 2 weeks ago didn't say champion. So that's the league. So there's no bonus. That's the trophy that's at hand, and that's what we play for.
Bobby, obviously 6 finals in a row is no small achievement. I think we're starting to enter the territory of one of the great Canadian sports stories in general. Does that start to weigh on you at all as far as the significance of the level of your accomplishments so far? further cement that for you guys?
Yeah, I don't think it weighs on us so much, other than it's something to be proud of. We know that's something tough to do in modern North American sport, where all across our sports there's salary caps and different things to make sure there's parity throughout all of the clubs. So I think that's what makes this special for us to be able to do what we've done over the past 6 years, because the system is not set up for that to occur. So that means we as a staff hopefully have been doing a good job. Our players have been doing a good job, and it's the continuity of our club, the ideals that we have, the culture we have, both on and off the field. I think that keep us striving for success, but not something that weighs on us, something that we're proud of, something that we don't take for granted. First word I use in our locker room is the word humble. We always start from a humble place, because nothing that you gain comes to you. It comes through the hard work, comes through respecting your opponents, each and every one. You always got to be on a good day to win in this league. You can't have a bad day and think that you're going to win a game, and that's one thing we've learned over time.
And to follow up on this, I think one of the things about, like, let's say a big club around the world is their ability to maintain a standard, which is not easy to do. So I'm wondering maybe if you could give us some insight on what is that process like as a coach? How do you maintain a standard of, let's say, excellence or championship, like just even making finals consistently?
Yeah, I think what players enjoy is football. We're part of this game, and we can talk about everything off the field, but the most important thing is we spend, an hour to an hour and a half each day on the pitch. That has to be an excellent environment. That has to be an environment that allows the player to get better, that is clear for the player, that is enjoyable. The football that you're going to play is enjoyable, because I think just talking globally, you can get a team to defend for 1 year and do all of these things, and you can win that way. It's not long lasting. I think what we preach and what we try and do at the club, it's not perfect on the pitch. It's something that the players enjoy. So if you do that, coupled with making sure that as a coaching staff, your effort is going to try and always be more than your players, you're always pushing them to their limits. And when you push them there, the limits get a little bit higher. You get them to keep on going. And I think that's one thing that we've been able to do. These guys push me each and every year to come up with new ideas, to make sure I evolve, to make sure our coaching staff evolves, to make sure our tactics evolve through the principles of what we like. And I think that keeps them motivated enough.
And one more, Bobby, if you don't mind. Last time you were here in a final, I think your group was, very young, and there was that inexperience. But now that core group returns, having gone through 6 years of consistency and excellence. So I'm wondering, what can you take from the group that you've now established, and what are your impressions of the younger group that's coming through, being able to experience this maybe for the first time as well?
Yeah, I think that's something that we always try and build and try and plan through. I've talked in the past that we've built this team through 3-year cycles. So if you do the math, this is the end of the second cycle of 3 years, and so far it's been going well. And part of that is making sure that the young players that are coming in, some are going to be excellent and ready to play right away. Other ones are going to take a little bit of time, but through that process, they're going to have the experience of playing in these games, of being in these environments, whether it's CONCACAF, Canadian Championship type of games, and then playoff games in the CPL. And that makes them stronger as they go forward. Examples of that are Malcolm Duncan, who, to be honest, rarely played last year, and this year's been an excellent player for us, an excellent player in the league all around. So I think it's part of the way we plan with things, and that's the importance of the young players. Some are going to get it right away, some it's going to take some time, but development's not linear.
Hey, Bobby, a couple questions for me. One, the fitness of certain players. Borges didn't play last weekend. Is he ready to go, play 90? Same thing with Para, hasn't played for a month. Is he fit to play 90? And Taron Campbell as well, because haven't had that number 9. Is he fit enough to play, see the field at all?
Yeah, so everyone is ready and available, and minutes-wise, that's always a different thing. This is a game that doesn't have a tomorrow. You don't say, okay, how can I spot a player some minutes here so I can get him ready for next week? These are games where the most ready players play. And then from there, you see where you can impact the game coming off of the bench. So everyone's available to us. Everyone's available in different levels as well with some of those guys. Taron has played a whole of 3.5 games for us this year. And this guy has scored the most goals in this league, and he hasn't played a season this year. But he's been good in training. He's always good around the goal, and there's a situation always for players off the bench that'll be needed.
I mean, last week you played a lot deeper than we've typically seen you play. Is that a symptom of not really having a number 9 that you can rely on right now? And how do you approach that? Does it make you a little bit nervous heading into the final that there's a position where in the past you really haven't had a question about?
No, the approach last week had nothing to do with no number 9, but it had to do with pulling a team out of their comfort zone on the other side of the ball and closing things and getting some of their very good players away from dangerous spots on the field, which was done very well up until we've scored the goal, and then dynamics in playoff games changes. So, that's the way I look at the games in these situations. Not so much what we don't have, but you want to neutralize some things. Sometimes you have to flip the script. We've been here before. Sometimes we played a lot of football in finals, and there's been games where we haven't played any at all. Because in the end of the day, what I've learned about these games is the only thing we remember is who's won at the end, and that's what you want to look at. So, we've come up with an idea and have planned for tomorrow. That we're flexible. We can do both at different stages of the game, and we'll see how things go.
I mean, lastly, this is a year you beat 2 MLS teams. You won the Canadian Premier League Shield. But just hearing how important tomorrow's game is tomorrow, if you don't win, can you still call this season a success? Like, is it make or break in terms of being a successful season for you, winning tomorrow?
No, I don't think it's not a success. It's when you leave the last day and you haven't won that game, there's going to be disappointment, of course. Do we need to win the trophy tomorrow? No, we've got a few back at home, but we want to. We want another one. To have this trophy, at least till now, you have to kind of go through Forge. That's something we take a lot of pride in. That's why we're here. So it's not a matter of that. Hey, we're going to be okay if things don't go well tomorrow. Everyone in the room wants it. Everyone in the room is ready for it. But yeah, of course, there's been success this year. But in 2021, we did a lot of that same stuff outside in semifinals of CONCACAF and different things. But it would have been a much better feeling lifting a trophy into the last game of the season.